Hello and welcome to another episode of the Grunge Bible Podcast. My name is Ethan Shalloway, and I'm joined here with my partner, Chris Salona, who is hot off the road. We are, in fact, in person, live, talking, communicating with each other in the same room. Chris, how does it feel to be in Pennsylvania with me?
This is wild. I just rolled in. This was the first location that I arrived at.
Literally just out of the car after 5.5 hours.
And we're rolling in
Pennsylvania.
This is nice. This is a momentous day for Grunge Bible, the first ever in-person podcast.
Yeah, it already seems so much easier. We're looking. we're not using Zoom call. We're face to face. We can read each other so much better.
And we can officially say that we're in the studio because we are. Yes,
we are in the studio. This is actually, we posted a picture 1.5 years ago, basically, of us in this exact studio. So this is, we're in my hometown, Boyertown, and we're at my brother's podcasting little studio. And we took a picture of us shaking hands, and here we are 1.5 years later.
Prophecy has been realized.
So episode 19.
Absolutely. It's great to be here. And we do have a special guest actually joining us on the podcast. That's Quin Shalloway, Ethan's older brother. This is his studio, and we're going to have a nice little roundtable discussion. So how are you today, Quin?
Oh, I'm doing great. Pleasure to be here. Excited to be here. Excited to talk about music.
Yeah.
And being at live concerts, which we really haven't been doing in the last 12 months.
Yeah. A little background. Yeah. So Quin, he's my older brother by 2 years. And back in the day, we're going to talk about live concerts and live shows. But he's been in the podcast game for a little bit, and he's got good banter, and we figured he'd be a good guest. And since he's letting us use his space and some of his equipment, he's got a good personality. So we'll just figure we bring him in.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And we've been to a lot of concerts together. So we're gonna get into that in a minute because we're hot off of some concerts recently. Me and Chris just bought tickets today to a concert, so it's kind of a lot to talk about, and know that everybody on the page always gets excited when tour dates get released. So before we do that, we definitely have some people to thank. Shout out to our producer, Drew McFadden, who, if you guys didn't notice, we have a brand new theme to bring us in. He surprised us with that. He wants to keep things spicy, and so he wanted to give us another theme. So we're going to keep mixing it up every, 15 to 20 episodes is when I'd be guessing. And Chris, what do you think about the new theme?
I love it. Yeah, it's really good. And I didn't know that episode 18 was going to be the debut. It was like when an artist just surprise drops an album at midnight with no prior marketing or anything. Yeah. So I got the file and I was uploading it and kind of putting the finishing touches on it, and boom, we had a new intro, and it's awesome. I like it a lot.
He called me on the 2 days when I was driving. We were talking about it, and I was like, is it done? He's like, yeah, pretty much. He's like, you want to do it? I was like, yeah, send it. He's like, Chris will be fine. I was like, oh, Chris will love it. Just throw it in there. I was like, good mix. Quin, third party opinion. You've heard both of our
this
intros.
One's much better. I like this one.
Okay. What do you like? What do you like more about it?
It sounds better.
It's more grungy.
I think I don't know. It works.
Oh yeah,
a little better.
I get it.
It's always nice to freshen things up.
It's hard to put my finger on it, but sometimes the ditty just doesn't work.
Well, it's interesting because Quin.
Hey guys, if you ever want to listen to my podcast, Drew actually did the intro.
That's what I was just about to do. I was saying, Quin,
you want to get in on
Quin actually. Yeah, Quin has a real estate podcast. He's into real estate, and Drew performed produced the intro to that. So they have some history together.
Drew McFadden Enterprises right here.
Yeah. So who else do we have to thank, Chris? Yes, I'll toss it over to you.
So you guys heard our discussion last week in terms of the Grunge Bible 5, and the Grunge Bible 5 is no more, but that is because there is a sixth member of the Grunge Bible 5. Amen. So I don't know. We haven't decided what to call it. You said the pick 6 last week, but I don't like that. So we'll figure something out.
Yeah,
but
I was just
a new member of the top level Patreon supporters, and that is Jade Mercado. Jade decided to make the jump up to the top level this week, actually earlier today. So shout out to you, Jade. You're awesome. And Jade is joining Sonny Mashburn, Shannon Gorgone, Victor Schaefer, Alexis Shannon, and Release in that group of 6
pantheon of supporters.
Absolutely. So we're very
Jade making the
very
jump
grateful.
to $10 is incredible. She's been a great supporter since we started this podcast and before. So thank you very much.
That's
to
amazing.
all of our supporters.
That is amazing.
I've got nobody giving me money for my podcast. This is strictly to educate people.
I'm surprised people
the fact that you guys have
enough.
yeah, that's great. That means you guys are doing something right.
Either that or we're not doing anything wrong.
I guess
it's true. Yeah, it is when you say it aloud from a third party. It's kind of cool. People are throwing a few bucks here to hear us speak and run the page. So that's pretty cool. And you guys can do it too. It's pretty.
You can.
Follow the links.
Grungebible.com. All the links are there. Quick little shout out there. But I think we ought to get into it. So I rolled into the studio. I don't know. I didn't know what we were going to be talking about today, but I guess we're talking about concerts, our experiences with concerts and things about that. I'm rolling in blind though. I just have a list of shows that I've been to. And Ethan, why don't you get us going? You're gonna guide the ship today.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I thought a good similarity between the three of us that in the music that we like, because I think we all have pretty vast. I mean, Quin has different music likings than we do, and I have a vast. I mean, Chris and I have different likings. A lot of the same, but we all enjoy concerts, and we've all been to a lot of concerts actually. We all kind of made a list of the shows we've been to in the past 10 years, and all of ours. I think I bet you, Chris, your list is a little longer than you thought.
Yeah, it totally is.
Because at first he was like, yeah, I definitely don't. And then all of a sudden you keep remembering shows you've been to. And me and Quin have been to a ton of shows all through high school and right into college. So I guess let's just start with name like 5 of the best concerts you've been to. If you just want to go through the notable bands that you've seen, but let's just talk about the shows that you've been to and which ones really stick out. And then if you want to go into why, or if you want to say what's the biggest concert you've been at. So yeah, let's start right there.
Absolutely. I think Quin, it's your turn.
Yeah, Quin,
give us things off here. Let's
give us your concert intake and all the what are your opinions on concerts and give me your top 5 basically.
So top 5 concerts, not top 5 bands I've ever seen, just my top 5 concerts. It's hard.
Yeah,
This is a multi-level question.
That's true.
When I have enjoyed concerts, I'm trying to think of who my favorite concert I've ever been to. I definitely kind of go with the reggae rap alternative rock. I'm not as big into the whole grunge. I mean, about as close to grunge as I've ever been is a Foo Fighters concert. And
all right, well,
right?
Hey, Dave Grohl, yeah, absolutely.
Dave Grohl was there when it happened.
Yeah, Dave Grohl was a part of Nirvana. He was there, so that totally. I mean,
I've been to concerts like that. I've been to country concerts, which aren't concerts. It's just people getting drunk. That's essentially what it is. I literally cannot tell you who even. I was drugged there. So top
you were drugged there, or you were drugged there?
That's an important clarification
there.
to make.
You were pulled there by somebody. Okay.
Top concerts.
Well, just name some bands you've seen.
Okay,
who have you seen?
I've seen 21 Pilots, Rusted Root, Foo Fighters, Sublime, Dirty Heads, Alt J, Capital Cities, Lumineer, Bleachers, terrible band. Weird Al Yankovic, that's a pretty interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's a very polarizing person in the music industry, but I personally can appreciate his music a lot. Seen some different rappers, Mumford & Sons, but I think probably my most memorable is I got my now wife these basically front and center tickets to Mumford & Sons, and that was probably the most unique.
What year did you guys see them?
It could have been like 3-4 years ago.
It was probably when they were almost like at the apex of their.
I could not buy one of those tickets now. Yeah, I know that.
Totally.
Because of price or because of the music they've been releasing?
I think we could probably say both.
Yeah, I'm a big 2012, 2013 Mumford was pinnacle for me.
Well, that's really interesting you say that. And I think a lot of these bands that I mentioned, not all of them, but listen, there is a point in a band's life where I stop listening and caring and wanting to go to these places. 21 Pilots is a great example of bands that I will not go see in person anymore because they have came out of what they had originally, what they started at, that, and now they're poppy. There are little children going to concerts. There are, I'm pushing through to get to the front and see what's his name, bang on the drums on the crowd. And then there's like a 6-year-old and the dad saying, hey, don't do that. I'm like, dude, you're at a freaking concert.
It's a show, man.
Get out of here.
Show.
Go to the back. I'm pushing forward. And we're bigger guys too. So I piss a lot of people off when I'm at concerts. But hey, it's a dog-eat-dog world, especially at concerts.
Yeah, that's a big thing because what kind of crowd the band attracts. And that was 21 Pilots. It was like we've seen them probably 6+ times, me and you together.
Yeah.
And they were some amazing concerts, but then at the end, the crowd changed, and there was like felt like we were walking on eggshells through the crowd, and we couldn't really do our normal stuff. Like one concert, and I also think it also depends on what city you see them, because we saw them in Philadelphia, and we were shoulder to shoulder. I mean, we were on each other's shoulders, like literally. There was crowd surfing. There was so much going on. We saw them in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and I tried to put my friend on my shoulders, and the security yelled from the back. And they also, when I moved,
reprimanded.
Yes, they told us to get down. And I remember we had moved like when it was a big push, and I moved like, I don't know, 20 feet forward in a packed, and they literally yelled at me because I was blocking the people behind me. And I was like, dude,
I always go, there's this way and that way. Go the other way if you don't like where you are anymore.
I was like, you can't tell. I was like, this is general admission. Yeah, this is general admission.
Which are the best kind of shows to go for, because they lend themselves to being able to do that if you really want to get to the front.
Yeah. That made me so mad. Totally sour mouth. We got thrown out of that concert, snuck back in. It was a fiasco. I've been thrown out of a few concerts mainly because the security doesn't want you to have a good time.
Have we all been thrown out of concerts? I know I have. You have. Quinn, have well, yeah, you were with,
I mean, like, I don't know. We got pushed out at general admission, then we ran back in, and basically. But the problem is, we're such large people that people just point us out and go, "Oh, they're back to the front again." It's the big redhead, or the other guy who looks like the big redhead.
Yeah, the other 6'3" guy.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of tough. What about you, Ethan? What are some shows that stick out for you in your concert lineage?
Yeah, I was making the list. I've seen some high level bands. Like, obviously we've seen Pearl Jam together twice. I've seen Foo Fighters probably 3 times. Seen John Mayer, Dave Matthews, saw Green Day and Sublime, 21 Pilots, obviously, and we saw Rusted Root. They're an old time band. That was one of my really an incredible
Ardmore Music Hall. And there's probably 50 people there.
Really?
It was crazy.
It was probably a little bit more than that, but
still really close, intimate kind of setting.
Man.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's not how the story goes.
That's how the story goes. But then I've seen, those are the bigger ones, but then I've seen a lot of I really like the Front Bottoms. AWOL Nation puts on an incredible show. Saw some some more recent bands like Rainbow Kitten Surprise, Houndmouth, Camp, Mount Joy, Of Monsters and Men. Some awesome.
I saw those.
Yeah, that was for my birthday.
One.
Yeah, Monsters and Men.
They're all coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, so I feel like I've gotten around. I've seen definitely a lot of variety, which I'm pretty proud of.
I think that's the best part too, because all of these different acts, the vibe at the show is totally different, and what they bring in, just different things to appreciate when you go to a show. If you go to something that's like guitar-driven rock and roll versus something that might be a little bit more alternative, or a hip-hop show or something, I think there's a bunch of different things that you can appreciate about those shows, and certainly I think they all have value. I would never be one to turn down like an opportunity to see live music just because it might not be something that's right front and center of what I would really like. So it's cool that you have a nice array there.
Yeah.
You don't think you'd ever turn down a concert?
It depends.
I don't know,
let me rephrase.
I've literally left concerts because I go, this is terrible. I'm not going to wait in the parking.
Oh yeah, I got a good story about that.
That's a waste of time.
Yeah, we got a good story about that. We'll come back to.
I will say one of the most disappointing things is to be a fan of a musician or a band, have really high expectations for them, and then they're just not good live, or if they have an off night or something. That's always really disappointing. Or
if you have, I think I remember talking to my one friend, and they wanted to see MGMT really bad, and they were waiting for Electric Feel, and the band didn't play it, and they were just like
crushed.
Yeah, just absolutely devastated.
Crushed.
Just like, they didn't play it. That's all I wanted.
That's what Bleachers did.
Really?
Bleachers didn't even play their song. Like, they got one song on the radio. We went to go see him, and it was the final song. I was like, all right, where is it?
I want to get better.
And then I was like, I can't believe they didn't play the song. I'm like, I cannot believe I just waited through this entire dumb set, and they didn't play the song.
Exactly.
But you know what? You say, like, they don't live up to, what you say they're going to be. When we went to Foo Fighters, you remember Dave Grohl had a broken foot.
That was just after he ran off the stage and broke. Yeah, he ran off the stage and broke his foot, and they made a big guitar throne for him to sit on.
That's unbelievable.
But he was. What were we gonna say though?
Well, I'm just saying, like, it wasn't like stage presences, and you guys just talked about this with Scott Weiland, right? On how he's like one of the best showmen. I would disagree that he's not up there with Freddie Mercury. And
I'm definitely biased. I run the grunge Bible.
But hey, that's okay.
He thought that was a hot take.
Okay, it was a very hot take.
But, absolutely.
No, but Dave is like that too. And the fact that he couldn't run around and do all, he just sat the whole time. I mean, still very good at it.
Right. And the total antithesis of what he is. I mean, he's energy. He's bombing around the stage the whole time.
Yeah.
One thing that I always try to, I think as I've seen more shows, I try to temper my expectations, because for me, if I've been looking forward to seeing a band for, I mean, I've seen bands or musicians that I've been wanting to see for 5 or 6 or 7 years. So there's a lot of anticipation into it. So for me, that is like the seminal moment of my fandom of this band or this musician. But for them, it's just another stop on a 35 show tour,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
So and it's always interesting to think about that. And it's like, wow, like they're playing 4 or 5 shows a week for 6 months. It's got to be damn hard to bring it every night and to meet everyone's expectations. So I always try to realize that, because it's like, even in our day-to-day work, it's like you're not going to be on every single day, and some days you're going to mail it in. So it's just, we don't have potentially 10,000 people upset with us when we do mail it in.
Catching bands in the beginning of their tour is very important. I remember like there's a few shows, like I saw Hobo Johnson and the Lovemakers in Birmingham, and it was in the beginning, and it was absolutely like killer show. And he said it was like his first or second stop. He had like started in Atlanta, I think, and it was just absolutely like killer. And I was like, wow, I'm so glad we saw him in the beginning. Not because he probably was really good at the end, but you could see when people like are just finished an album and then they're starting their tour, they're so energized.
Yeah. How about who's the singer for the Front Bottoms?
Oh, what's his name?
Anyway, so this guy last year. No, I mean, it was almost 2 years ago now because of the pandemic. But he came out, he had a fever, and he was in the hospital all week long. They thought about canceling. I don't know what it was.
He might have had an appendectomy or something.
Either way, he was sick. Issue, and it was just this great, because he gutted it out. And he just, I mean, sometimes the crowd is everything for these people to come and perform. And he's just like, you guys were great. You basically revived me. He came out in a
hospital gown. He came out in a hospital gown perfect. with his ass cut out. He wasn't wearing pants underneath the gown. That was really funny. That was fantastic. That was a good one. Yeah. Chris, your turn. Let's go through some of the bands that you've seen live.
Yeah, for sure. So I started off on the wrong foot when it came to going to shows. I was 0 for 2 actually. So my first ever show, I didn't go to a live concert until I was a senior in high school. So I was a little late to the game. And my first show, I took my girlfriend at the time, I think it was her birthday gift. I took her to see Jason Aldean, Florida Georgia Line, and Tyler Farr. So that was my first show. I was pretty heavily into country pop at the time. I have since repented for my sins, and it was just not a good show. Jason Aldean is not a good live performer, even for his genre.
That's Dirt Road, right? Or
no, all Dirt Road.
Yeah, or is that Barefoot Blue Jean Night? No, that's definitely Dirt Road.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're all the same. So that was my first show.
They're all Dirt Road.
My second show, I went to a Kid Rock concert, and Journey opened for Kid Rock. I didn't see the show.
Wait, Journey opened for Kid Rock.
Yes, Journey. I think it's like the 7th iteration of Journey. And I don't believe there's many.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes, so they were there. I did not make it in. I was removed from the parking lot.
Oh, you didn't make it into the concert.
I never saw Journey or Kid Rock. I heard a short splice of Cold as Ice by Journey.
Oh my god.
That was it though. I was removed. So
do you want to go a little deeper into why you're removed?
I think the statute of limitations have since expired. So yeah, I mean, it was just your.
Were you 18?
I was 18 years old at the time. So it was your typical case of, you're in the States, you're under 21, you're going to a show, you want to tie one on a little bit with your buddies, and you don't look 21, so I mean you're easy cannon fodder for the powers that be. So when you have a bunch of kids,
nothing out of the ordinary, just got picked out.
When you have a bunch of kids sitting on a tailgate of a truck who look very 18, shotgunning beers and things like that, you're gonna draw some attention to yourself. So that was a short-lived experience. So I never made it in, but luckily my luck changed. The next show that I saw after that was Pearl Jam at Fenway Park, which was I saw with you, Ethan, and that was the first time I saw Pearl Jam. Some other highlights, I was able to see Tom Petty before he passed away.
Yes.
I usually try to catch Government Mule whenever they're coming around. I love Warren Haynes. That's kind of like jam band, Dead, Fish adjacent, but I can still get into it. I saw Lake Street Dive. They put on a really good show. And actually, just 2 days ago, I saw Bruce Springsteen on Broadway. And that was probably the show that I have anticipated the most in my life, and it still delivered. So that was really cool. But yeah,
I definitely want to hear a little bit more about the Bruce concert, because I know this is a huge.
Oh,
that was probably Mount Rush, Bruce. Oh yeah, probably Mount Rushmore of musicians for you.
Oh yeah, I mean it's Bruce and Pearl Jam, and I'd seen Pearl Jam twice to this point, and they don't disappoint either. But yeah,
you saw him in New York, and it was a Broadway.
It was the Broadway show.
Yeah. So what does that mean? Or
so basically, it wasn't the band; it's just him. And it's 2.5 hours, and it's So he wrote an autobiography in 2016, and it's basically like a musical show of the autobiography where he'll have commentary about his life and about his songs and about his journey to like becoming a musician and everything. And he'll play the piano, he'll play guitar with the harmonica, etc. And it's 2.5 hours nonstop. And he did a pretty extensive run of it in 2017 and 2018. And then with Broadway opening back up, I guess somebody must have paid him a lot of money to do it again. And I think he was excited to do it again. And I think I saw him. He's only been doing it once again for probably 2 weeks now. So I think it's very much one of those things where I think he was very energized to be back, because I mean, he's 71 years old. He's been playing shows, probably 100 to 300 shows a year, depending, for, almost half a century. And he brought it. He was super energetic, super animated.
What was the best song, or what did they have an encore?
No, it was just straight through. Okay. So the show is more or less the same every single time. But,
okay.
The Promised Land, which is a Bruce Springsteen song off of Darkness on the Edge of Town, and he had a really good monologue just about, kind of like, heading west. And I know that's something we can all take stock in, and just kind of, fighting out of, different situations. And it was just really cool. And I was able to go with my mom, actually, who's a big Bruce Springsteen fan as well. So that was really special. So, and it's funny too, when we talk about, what's the best show you've ever seen, I think a lot of times it's whatever show was most recent in your timeline that 100%. You enjoyed. Because I walked out of it, I was like, that was the best thing I've ever seen. And I've done that dozens of times before, whether it be concerts or sporting events. It's like, oh, like I'll never see something that good again, but here I am saying again, that was probably, that Tom Petty was great, especially knowing that, he passed away, I think 3 months after I saw him. And then Pearl Jam was special for obvious reasons, so.
Nice. That's awesome. That's really good. Okay. So yeah. I guess Quin, what concert really sticks out for you then? Is there something as a one that I don't know if I guess we'll kind of go around and see what special moment, I guess, of it was Bruce. Chris seeing a band or Bruce that he's wanted to see his whole life. Do you have anything like comparable?
Try and think about. There used to be this, I don't know what you call it, different. They called it Winter Jam, and we had been obviously going every year for the summer ones, but they were doing Winter Jam, and they were having Switchfoot and 21 Pilots who were going to be playing, and we were excited to be there, but we were...
Was this the birthday bash or the...
No, it was a Winter Jam.
Okay.
And it was unique because it was so cold, and it was a Saturday night, and the night before... There were supposed to be more people going, but honestly, got kind of banged up the night before. I couldn't get a couple people out of bed. But we still went. I remember more like we need to get there early. So we go there early, and it's just like not everybody. Of course, you go with different people. We talk about different types of people who go to concerts. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely the type that likes to push up forward and stay there and just be in the energy, because the energy is why I like to go to music. I could care less about the lyrics. I could care less about any of that stuff, but the energy is why I go. So we went up there, and there was just something so unique about this concert, because it was when 21 Pilots came out and they were playing. They do this, or they used to do this shtick where he basically get out there on the crowd and play drums. They had a big platform, and he basically moved on the crowd. Yeah. And I just remember it being really dark, and they were putting water on the big bass drum, and they were banging on. Oh, it was so neat. And then I remember just like putting up my phone, and there he literally was. Switchfoot did a Blink 182 cover, and he was literally Sabotage. Is that even a Blink 182? I don't know who it is.
No, that's
not particularly close.
No, not close.
Beastie Boys.
Again. I don't listen. Yeah. Anyway, but it was awesome because he literally took the phone and sung right into it.
That's pretty cool.
And it's like, you can't get that.
He took your phone?
He took my phone. I have the video. I'll show it to you afterwards.
I think we have to post that.
Yeah.
We have to.
It's pretty dope. Also,
I didn't know that. Actually,
it was snowing the entire time too.
No way.
So getting back to this big group I was with, there were people texting us going, "Hey, we want to leave. We're getting really cold," and I'm like sweating like
hell no, man.
Crazy because I'm up front, and I'm like, "You guys."
So it's a blizzard. It's a blizzard. My shirt is off. I'm dripped in sweat. There's nobody within 15 feet of me, and yet Tyler Joseph takes my phone while playing drums and videos in it says,
"Make your own heat."
This story keeps getting better. There. Continue.
Yeah, so I mean that's basically it. I mean, that's
energy, a great experience.
Man. I just try to think concerts get me really. I don't know about that, but energy in concerts is the most. You cannot replicate those moments. Maybe some sports will do that for you, but when everybody in the crowd, especially in the front, because as you're in the front, that's where just everybody has that energy. As you further back you go, the more, okay, maybe I'm just here to just drink a few beers, lay back. Right. I've seen this band a couple times.
Yes, I've done that. I would say with like probably Dirty Heads or just bands that
you've seen multiple times.
Bands you see multiple times or something that, if you've been asked to go along with somebody and you didn't necessarily spearhead buying the tickets, I don't mind sitting back and just watching it as a production and watching the people in the front. And yeah, I can really appreciate that. You're still getting the live music from a distance, and it's pretty, pretty relaxing, pretty enjoyable. Or then happens with, it's happened with the Foo Fighters where, you just a huge venue and the tickets, you're just, I'm way back. I've done that a few,
it's not
a few
a
times.
Possibility to get up there.
Yeah, you're in the balcony and you just get to watch, and that's great too. That's as long as
Well, our parents went to that U2 concert, which was basically the Washington Redskins stadium. I can't even imagine.
Right, that's like a 70,000 person venue.
Yeah, and I've never been, in getting back to venue size, the bigger it gets for me, the less special it is.
I would agree
for
with
me.
that.
I don't get that. Some people love those concerts, how they spend, whatever, $500 to get those really good platform seats on the, on the field.
On the playing surface.
They love that. It's a real event for them. They will save for months on end because they're always big bands because you got to pay top tier.
Yeah, because you can't book it.
That's why Mumford, when we went and saw Mumford and Sons, I think we saw it at the Man in Philly. That's like a mid to small level, concert as far as capacity goes. So
that was probably pretty epic.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was in 12th grade, 12 or 13, I remember that there was a Mumford and Sons, and I tried to get tickets, and they came on sale at 10, and I was in physics class, me and my friend Nate, and we were trying to get it and followed all the rules. Was there right at the time, and this is when ticket gouging and all that stuff was really a problem.
Oh yeah.
And I remember being so furious that I couldn't get tickets to see them. That it totally ruined. I never tried to get Mumford & Sons tickets again, and I feel like I missed the window of when they were in their prime, and it hurts to think about. We had 3 people set up to get the tickets and couldn't do it. Oh, it pissed me off so much. I hate that.
Yeah,
we were against Ticketmaster for a while.
It's never fun to miss out, and I think I had a similar experience, not being necessarily the point of it being disgruntled with, not being able to get tickets. But Chris Cornell had been doing a solo tour, I think in 2015 or 2016. I was going to go, but I was like, it's an hour and a half's drive and the tickets are $75. And I wasn't working. I was in college at the time. I was like, I'll catch them the next time. And I never had the chance to. So that was a moment where I was like, all right, from this point forward, if I can see somebody and they're important enough to me, I'm going.
Well, yeah, 75. Remember when, the Temple of the Dog reunion came, and we were talking about going. There was a place, Philadelphia
was Upper Darby. There was Philly. There was New York and Seattle. And
there's a few there's a few on the west or East Coast, and the tickets cheapest were $500.
Baseline $500, which was completely untenable for us at the time. And I don't think I would pay that much money now. I mean, that's...
Oh, I don't know though, because these guys, right? How many years were they together? In the 90s, correct?
Temple of the Dog was together. They did one album. They played a handful of shows, and it was their 25th anniversary of that album.
Yeah,
one album. I don't
know.
It
was right before Chris Cornell.
Right,
it was like
it was before. The fall of 16. They did the tour, fall winter 16, and then he passed away in May of 2017. So it was like so hard. And I think some prices for tickets are. I mean, you get that thing. A band that Temple of the Dog could have filled up Lincoln Financial Field, for example. They could have played to 60,000 people, but they decided they were going to play small shows. But, supply and demand, you had a lot of people that have been waiting 25 years to see them.
Yeah.
And, I totally would have wanted to, but I don't think I had $500 to spend.
No, you haven't been saving for 25 years like these other people.
Exactly. So, but that was the thing, even with Bruce Springsteen this week, I was able to get tickets. I got them for face value. So I paid $75 a ticket. On the secondary market, my ticket and the tickets next to me were going for $400 or $500. So if you can get in,
that's the name of the game, man.
You have to get in.
Well, I remember I did for those Mumford ones. I got 4 tickets. I'm like, sweet, I could flip 2 of these and be able to resell it. And I mean, Ticketmaster, StubHub, they got it down. I wasn't allowed to resell them. Oh, yeah. Didn't know that ahead of time. Then I had to find some people, and we blessed them with some tickets. But it just
yeah, that's. I mean, we talked about this once before, but when you buy tickets, how many tickets do you buy at a time?
It's got to be 4.
You buy 4
typically.
You buy 4 without knowing who you're going with?
If it's a big enough, I usually have an idea of who would want to go to concerts with me. Right. And if there is enough lead time, I can find somebody who would want to go. I mean, I've jumped in a few concerts with you, and you're like, hey, I've got these tickets. Let's go. I'm like, sweet. Yeah. I mean, because when it comes down to it, it's a fun time. So that's how I believe concerts.
It's an
They're
experience,
just being experienced, enjoyed.
It's the totality of it. It's just being around the energy type thing. And I guess, for some people that's not why they go. But I think it depends on the artist. Like
100%.
It depends on the artist and like how attached I am, how many tickets I would buy. Like there's some where I'm like, this is important to me and like I'm fine going alone. But otherwise I usually buy 2 and then either I go into the purchase knowing and, having someone else informed that, hey, I'm going to get these tickets, we should go, or I just buy them and then figure it out later. And if I can't, I can't, but I usually can. I mean, it's a concert.
Here's a question. Have either of you went to a concert solo
yes,
concert?
I have.
Really? I've never done that.
Yeah, you just did recently, Chris, right?
You went?
No,
no,
I
not
haven't.
Bruce Springsteen.
Not recently?
No. So I've gone. Let me see. Actually, I've gone to.
I need to look at mine.
I saw Government Mule solo once. I saw them way back in like 2016. I found out they were playing that afternoon. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go down.
Oh, that's cool.
The tickets were like $20, and Blackberry Smoke opened. They're like a blues, like Southern blues rock band. I think that's the only show that I've seen alone. I do have tickets this fall to see Julian Baker solo. I only purchased one. Julian Baker is a very important artist to me. So it was one of those things where I wanted to go, and I don't know of anybody who's geographically located with me who would be a fan. And I don't want to go and be like, have it in the back of my head to make sure that the other person is having a good time. I just kind of want to go and experience it for myself. But it definitely, I think it depends on the band, and it depends on where you want to be. Like what you were saying, Quinn, like if your intention is to go, into the pit and get up there.
That's so true.
Some people might not be down for that. And I've gone to shows. I went to John Butler Trio with like 4 other people, but nobody else wanted to go. So I ditched them. I went in.
My goodness. I've done that. Yeah. I'll go to concerts with Ethan, and I'll also go with my wife, Erica.
Right.
And Erica does not like watching. No, she doesn't. She doesn't like watching me push my way to the front. Yeah. I'm a little more aggressive, and I just go, it's the way concerts are. People just realize that people are moving through, pushing you the entire time. And, some people they're like, I'm fine here.
If you're going to a general admission show, that's just part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't like it, there's a lot of space in the middle or the back that you can go and sit out.
Which is fine.
Yes.
But it's funny when there's just a difference, and it's like, oh, this whole part of our group, like I said, my best concert experience, half the crew was, 50 feet behind me, just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, I was going to say that I've never been to, there was one concert that I went to with, like tertiary friends. Like it was like one of my friends' sister and their group of friends. So like I didn't know anybody, but I was with people, but I was there. But there has been multiple concerts where I do the whole like push up to the front by myself, or if I have to go to the bathroom, I'll leave and I come back and I just lone wolf it for a little bit.
Slate,
yeah. Or you come back and you're like, I'll find you guys later, and you like separate from your friends, and then you're doing the whole solo thing. I've definitely done that at a few different concerts, and that is pretty fun when you're in, and then you have like the, depending on the concert and the time of day, or if it's like, if it's an outdoor concert, usually you're like way more like inept to talk to other people.
Yeah.
And like, make some friends.
Well, you
at
can
the
move
concert.
around space and everything.
Yeah. So it is pretty fun to be like, because you can, those who travel the lightest travel the farthest. So when you're trying to get up front, me and Quin will be like I'll see you in 10 minutes. And then we like both take our own routes, however to get.
Rendezvous up at the front, you
try to daisy chain like 8 people to the front. Like
it doesn't work.
People are getting mad. When people try to get past us, we just shoulder to shoulder, and it's like, nah,
I'm sorry, there's my left and my right.
Yeah, I was like, you can
in front of me.
You can go. I usually say is like, you can go anywhere except for right in front of me. So I don't care.
Yeah, as long as it's not my view or anything. But I will say, I would much rather go to a show that I'm really into alone than go with somebody who might not match my objectives or my energy. And I also realize some of the music that I'm into is not what like your contemporary, mid-20s people are into. So, I wouldn't, spring like a Counting Crows show on somebody. Certainly, I would never take anybody on a date to like a Counting Crows show or something. Have you guys done concert dates? I know we spoke about this like several episodes ago, but I don't think they're a great idea, especially in the beginning. But have you guys ventured into that?
I don't think I really have had a concert date, not a legit one. Have you and Erica go to concerts together?
We went to concerts together in the beginning.
When you were dating?
Yeah, and we were dating. But that's difficult. That's interesting.
Because you can't really speak to them.
I wouldn't really call it.
You don't want to.
Yeah, at that point, I think I was with Erica.
Right, you were very far along.
To decide to go on a date to a concert where the concert is at least going to be 3 hours of your night. That's tough. And then also it's like got to get a recap because you got to try to connect outside of like the hours of loud music.
Yeah, so, you're not going to have a conversation while you're right next to the bandstand. For example. Now
I've done live music nights, like you go to a bar or a brew pub and they're playing music. Yes. It's a specific type of band. I know I did that even with your bands, Ethan, growing up. You'd have somewhere at Chaplin's or whatever, and we'd get a table. That was different. That's like a sit down BYOB. There's a band.
Definitely. That's a live music venue.
I love live music venues.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's
a whole different realm,
especially when you don't really know what's going on in there.
There's nothing better than just dark, who are these guys?
It's great. Like I was in Philadelphia last week, and there was this great trio, kind of like a funk jazz fusion type situation going on, and it was awesome. I was just sitting there, sipping my drink, talking to my friends, and just watching these guys go at it. Those are some of the best.
I totally agree.
We got to do that. Oh man,
I'd love that
tonight.
Why not?
Go to a concert?
Why not us? Why not now?
Like Space Donkey and the Moon Bouncers.
Yeah,
one band that we played with one time, and they were fun on stage for the people.
Yeah. Well, you've had like 5 or 6 different band names. There's like Merchant Copy, Miles Till Dawn,
Silver Dress Pants.
Yeah.
What's it? Any others?
We billed ourselves as Sad Seas one time.
Can't say I remember that phase, but
it was just like all of our, it was just a makeshift band of like 10 friends. So it was a ton of people that was playing. So we couldn't really call ourselves our normal band name. So we just went with Sad Seas.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But it's always fun to switch up the name and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not like, actually trying to make it. Yeah.
Act.
If you don't actually need to keep consistency, but,
mm-hmm.
So I have a question. What makes describe yourself. Quin, you kind of already did. Like, what kind of concert goer are you? So you say you're the energy guy. You go for the energy and you're always up front. Would you say that's like?
Yeah, I'm in the thick of it for the most part. It's because it sounds kind of weird. I always get this when I talk to people who really like music. I don't love lyrics. I don't ever listen to lyrics, which sounds funny, but I don't have any idea what any songs are really about. And
total opposite, Chris.
Yes. Yeah, we are polar opposites.
Chris cannot listen to a song without
analysis.
One, looking at the lyrics, but two, just listening.
I've never pulled up the lyrics as I'm like watching it. Like, do you just sit in rooms and listen to music?
Yeah, totally.
Never
I will sit
in
down,
my life. I'd be like, what am I doing?
Spotify and pull up the lyrics if it's a new song, or if an artist I like drops a new album, I will pull it up and I will read along while they sing and while they play.
That's the best part about live music. It's an event. I think that's why I enjoy it so much, more so the music. But these people are putting on like one of the best shows ever. And with Dirty Heads was always one of the best bands to go to, because they're just like, even their song like Check the Level, just boom boom, it's just
big
great.
Energy.
That's the cool
energy.
thing about music, though, and especially live music, is there's so many different aspects that you can connect with. You can connect with just being in a setting where everybody's got a lot of energy. You can be connected to the music because you might be a musician, you have a deep appreciation for it, or a lyric scenario like with me, or all of them, and it can change based on the song and everything. But that's the cool part, and there's no wrong way, or there's no correct way to do it.
Plus the camaraderie too.
Totally,
and
that's one of the best parts.
And as you have people, or you follow these bands for a while, we saw some of the same people at these concerts in the general mission.
Especially
like, we would
depending
come
on
back
the
every
band that
year,
you're going to see that
and
have
there they are.
followings.
It's like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. We talked to him. It's like, oh, the two big brothers, we remember you. And that's just kind of really neat. And then you can kind of reflect on previous albums, and I love that. I think.
So talking about kind of like this repeat offender type thing, what concerts have you guys been to that crowd, it was not their first time?
I've been to.
So if you've seen them once, you've seen them 30 times.
Yeah, so we're shouting out to all those deadheads. We have cousins that are fish fanatics, and
people do the Dead and Company stint in New York every summer for like 7 shows.
Dave Matthews. So I've been to 2 Dave Matthews shows, I think, and the one, you go there and there was these 2 middle-aged women like near us, and they were just like, they were yelling for Dave and was it Tim Reynolds? And I'm like, Tim Reynolds, we love. Like, they were talking about him, and it was my first one. I said something, and they were like, they looked at me and like, they're like, that's Tim Reynolds right there. They said something about like what he was doing, and it was like you don't know this, and I was just like, ooh, I misspoke there or something. It was hilarious, and like you could tell that, I don't know, offending them by being naive. They were like, wow, you haven't seen Dave before? Well, this is our Lord and Savior, Dave Matthews.
Welcome to church.
Yeah. So that was definitely, they have a really good following. I have a few friends that they do Dave came to Hershey and they saw him 3 days in a row. Yep. Nick is going to see Dead and Company 3 days in a row in LA.
I have a couple friends who do that in New York. Wow. They'll, during the summer, they usually play like 3 or 4 shows where the New York
Every show is different.
Every show is different, and every show is special. Yeah, that's interesting. Some for me. So I've seen Jimmy Buffett before. The Parrot Heads. It was incredible. So I went down there with one of my former teammates and one of my friends, former track and field teammates, and we went down there, and it was unbelievable how into Jimmy Buffett all of these people were. So we tried to play along. But like
way above your pay grade.
We were totally in over our heads, but like they were very accepting of us, and we would build some rapport. Nice. And we'd be like, hey, like I have a secret, like this is my first time, and they would be like, oh my God, welcome, like you need to see. They were throwing out venues and dates, and they're like, you need to see him at Alpine Valley, like nothing is like it. And I don't know what the allure is of the Parrot Head. I guess it's the lifestyle. I mean, that's not in my subspecies, but additionally, surprisingly, one of the biggest cult followings of a band that I've seen, Get the Lead Out, the Led Zeppelin tribute band. And I think, have you seen them?
I have seen them. Yeah. One time we played a Battle of the Bands here, and I think like we won, and the prize was like
Get the let out tickets.
yes, and to see them backstage. We went, like we met. I don't remember them.
Paul
at all.
Sinclair, the lead singer.
Yeah, but I was at the Get the Let Out here in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Unbelievable.
So they have a big cult following.
They do, and I just think it's. I mean, they're good. They're talented.
What do you think about tribute bands? Like, isn't it The Wall is a big Pink Floyd one?
And like there's Release, which is a Pearl Jam tribute band. I mean, there's a bunch of them.
So what do you think? What do you think about the tribute bands?
I don't know, man. I think it depends on if the actual band is still existing or not.
Well, say
like Led Zeppelin's not coming back, right?
Right.
Bonham's been unfortunately in the ground for like 40 years.
There are tribute bands that are playing. and other bands are still going.
Yes. There are many Pearl Jam.
What's that
tribute
even
bands.
mean?
Exactly. I think it's
Are they making? I mean, they're not making the same.
Are they
living,
coming out with originals? No. This is our take on.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I guess it's cool, and I mean, there's such a market for Zeppelin. I mean, every single, what would you say, 45 to 65-year-old man in the United States and everywhere probably is like, Led Zeppelin is in the pantheon, and I think for them to be able to, I guess, relive it or something, or just appreciate it, or have the music live on. So I don't know. I mean, I'm inclined to judge tribute bands, but I really can't because everybody can express themselves in a different way. But I don't know. I mean, it was fun. It was a fun night. I went with I went with a bunch of my teammates.
They are extremely.
We went and just had a great time because I mean, they play all the hits. They're a tribute band.
They're spot on too.
You know exactly what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and you get it. And
they play Stairway.
What it is? Yeah, they ripped into Stairway, man.
They got the double guitar.
They had the double neck Gibson SG. Yeah, they had everything, man. They had it all.
He played the drum solo. Yeah.
Yep, a Black Dog. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think about tribute bands, guys?
I haven't given a good thought.
They have their place, I guess, to put it.
I mean, I guess it is. I guess we're not old enough to see our bands like disappear. Right. So like our I think our grandfather or something. Yeah, they would really appreciate seeing bands, and they could, especially if they saw them when they were around, be like, this is exactly what they were like when I was 20 years old.
Like, and I saw star. Them. Like if you went to a Get the Let Out concert, like I saw Led Zeppelin in '74. People are like, oh my god.
Well, that too. Yeah. You probably.
So it's basically just a big reminiscing party. That's all it is.
So I like
exactly
people to go in. So it's different. This is different.
But then there's the bands that, like you said, the bands that are still playing that are tribute bands to them.
Right. Well, there's some. There have to be Springsteen tribute bands. There's Pearl Jam tribute bands. There's
Fleetwood Mac has a big one, I think. Yeah. Or there's
probably
Heart
a bunch
one.
of Skinner tribute bands. You know, I mean, all of these lifers. I mean, they have.
That's
I
like
think there's a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers tribute band. So but they're obviously no longer an entity. So I don't know. I mean,
they're waiting for their chance to make it big
in the musical landscape, I guess. And then obviously Pearl Jam has a hell of a following. I mean, we know multiple people whose number of times seeing Pearl Jam exceeds 30, 40, 50. Same thing with Springsteen. I have someone that I know who's seen Springsteen, I think 30 or 40 times, and is not stopping. Every show's different. So I don't know. I think shows are so expensive now that I don't know that I could get to that point. I mean, you're not getting a $25 ticket to a Pearl Jam show anymore.
No, fees are $25 now.
Yes. Can we rail on fees?
Oh my gosh, dude.
We just bought tickets today to Phoebe Bridgers, and I chose to browse with the fees included, so I don't know what the fees were.
It was $11.
I think mine was like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, a little bit higher.
A little bit higher. Northeast, man. It's
me and Chris both bought tickets to Phoebe Bridgers. I'm seeing him in Birmingham. I'm seeing her in Birmingham, and he's where are you seeing? Boston.
Boston, Massachusetts.
And it came out to it was like a $38 ticket plus $11. So if it's under $50, and mine was general admission. So if it's under $50 general admission, and I like the band, I'm pulling the trigger every single time. If it's over $100,
it's got to be special.
Yeah, they got to be like not really tour that often, like a Pearl Jam, like where their tours aren't as big as they used to be, and they don't do it.
They're just in such high demand too.
Yeah, and they're high demand. I haven't spent more than $125.
Pearl Jam's probably the most expensive ticket you've purchased, probably. Yeah.
How much was that ticket? That was one at Fenway?
It's like the first time we saw them, we got them secondary market. So I want to say I had a discount code. Just shows
he was a part. He got a part of the 10 club.
Yes, so I wasn't a part of the 10 club.
Yep.
And I think we paid like $140 a ticket.
$140.
Was
and
it?
then,
Yeah.
And then the second time, the 10 club graced us with a hell of a bargain. They were only $100
for
way up in the rafters of Wrigley Field. Thankfully, there wasn't a pole in front of us. But I mean, it's just
the most I spent on tickets was. It was supposed to be $75 a person. Mm-hmm. This is the Mumford one. $75 a person, bought 4 tickets, then couldn't sell the tickets, so they ended up being $150 each because I had 4 tickets.
Was it still worth it?
Oh yeah. No, it was worth it. I didn't really care. It's like you buy tickets. I mean, you guys are just buying a ticket then like going, but a lot of the big concerts, especially when the tickets drop pre-sale,
right?
They're so far out that I don't even like that money has been spent.
Oh, totally.
Months, so it doesn't bother me
like
at all.
Even when we go, I'm seeing Phoebe Bridgers in September. It's going to feel like a free concert because I've already paid that debt.
Yeah.
You know, the dues have already been submitted.
Yeah, that is the best. And we used to have a rule, and I don't think you're following this rule anymore, Quinn, is that once you see a concert, we would always once we saw a concert, we would always buy another ticket like right before we see him. So we always had a concert lined up. Yeah, we always had something on.
We haven't done that in a while. Well, no, because
we didn't have concerts.
We haven't had concerts. We're out of the groove, and I'm trying to think. You remember the one time there was only one?
What was your last concert that you've been to? You think
the Front Bottoms? It was the last concert I've been to
about a year and a half ago. So that was right before the pandemic. Yeah, that was like.
That's when people started to get weird. They're
Christmas
like,
Christmas of 2019. Yeah,
COVID was here.
It was here.
It was just
but I definitely need to get back there. But you know what it is? It's like now all these bands that I have listed are more expensive, and we're getting back to what is your favorite venue concert? I mean, where do you like seeing concerts? What venue? And almost all of these have grown out of the type of venues I enjoy to go to and see live music.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what you need to do is take your favorite venue and just look at the concerts that they're bringing in. And if they brought in your favorite bands 10 years ago, you just be like, you know what? I trust their new favorite bands. I trust their judgment. Buy some flyers, some flyer tickets to people so you can see them in the venue that you want to see them. You just might trick yourself and love a band or something.
Fall in love with a band.
Because there's like 2 or 3 venues in Birmingham right now that they have really good shows, and I got a few lined up, and like I know all the bands, but like I just keep a radar on like obviously what's close to me, and it's
a good point. I might just have to do that.
Yeah, so I would say pick the venue you want to do, and then that sounds great.
Reverse engineer the whole thing.
I love live music, so would you guys go see a band you don't know at all?
Yeah, I would.
Would you pay $50 for it?
Is it free?
I've done it before.
Is it free?
No, it's not free.
I'm not going to see a band I don't know.
Your friend goes, hey, I got an extra ticket. It's $50. It originally was $75, but you pay me $50 because I don't want to lose it. Would you be like, yeah?
I've gone in for like $30, $40 before.
Hold on, you're describing something different. It
is true because that's just a night out.
Yeah. Exactly. If my buddy goes, hey, so and so just dropped out. I know, but I'm getting to my point here. So and so said, okay, fine, we'll just use Ethan. Ethan texts me and goes, hey, do you want to go see this concert? I know we're doing this, whole day in Philly, and then we can go see this concert afterward. I'm like, well, one, I've seen this story doesn't make sense because I've already seen Front Bottoms, but I immediately said yes because I know Ethan likes good music and he knows what my tastes are in concerts. So I said, yeah,
it's got to be the right person.
It's going to be a great time. Yeah. So I guess the answer is yes, but the idea of myself trusting a venue to just, they picked this venue
to do their job.
Yeah, to do their job. I don't know if I can do that. I'd rather lean on someone who will enjoy the concert, and then I can enjoy that with them.
It's like committing to like Firefly or Bonnaroo before the set list comes out, buying the tickets before they come out because they're cheaper. Mm-hmm. No set list.
Find out that Fish is headliner.
Yeah, that'd be the best thing in the world.
Trey Anastasio.
Has anybody been? is that the lead singer?
Yeah.
No way. None of you guys have been to a festival?
Nope.
I have not been to a festival.
Yeah, they're usually like $500.
They're so expensive now, unfortunately. Yeah. And there was a great one. I lived in Iowa for 5 years. There was Hinterland, which was a really good festival. I never went. I think I was going to go last year, but obviously nothing existed last year, so they canceled. They've usually had some really good acts. Otherwise, I accidentally ended up in Chicago when Lollapalooza was going on. I didn't go to the shows, but I've never gone. They're so expensive to go, though. To go to a festival.
And it's not even just the ticket, the price of the
ticket.
Gosh, it's okay, we're there for 3 days. You got to get food, drink, package, everything. Oh my gosh.
Everything.
Glamping, you can get like
I mean, it's become anything. I mean, you take a good thing, you add the fees, you add all of the other peripheral things that don't have anything to do with it. And next thing you know, you're dropping a G note to go enjoy some music for a couple of days, which is not really my thing.
Do you guys pregame most of your concerts? Or
Depends.
are you going to the concert and you're just buying the $15 Bud Light?
Depends on the show. It really depends on the show and how important that artist is to me. Most of my shows, I think I've gone to either completely or fairly sober.
That's what I do typically.
Yeah,
maybe get a beer just because
I've had a couple. Drink, obviously, Kid Rock, but I didn't actually end up getting to go to that because
you pre-gamed a little too much.
Little too much. What about you, Ethan?
I love pre-gaming with a few drinks. I love the idea of making a night out of it. So like, I love going to, you got a concert. I love getting in, like it's in Philly. Let's get to the city 4 hours early. We'll go get food. Go to Frankfurt Hall. Yeah. Start talking about the old concerts. And like, so you start getting the juices flowing before, and listen to it. And, I like pre-gaming. It definitely makes any concert. You can usually heighten your most general concert with a few beers. And then when I'm in there, it depends what level I'm at and what concert I'm seeing and what the price is. I hate paying $10 for a Bud Light.
It's the same way I feel about sporting events too.
Oh yeah, dude. That's worse than the fees.
That's worse than
dude. If all you had to do is if I bought a ticket and the fees were $10, but it said you get a free beer, sign me up. You buy a ticket.
Say no more.
You buy the ticket and get a free beer with admission. I would be that would be incredible marketing. I would be like, I was gonna buy a beer anyway, even though I usually don't buy those $15 beers. But you give me a beer with admission, and
if you give me a free beer, then I immediately just go.
I'll pay the $50.
I go, that's a free beer. All right, so now I can buy 3 beers, and then it's 30% off for those 3 beers.
You got to work the deal.
That's a good way to think of it too.
Dude, which is exactly why they don't do it, because once you're in there, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so thirsty. Here's a 16-ounce water bottle for $8.
Yeah. What is the most? Do you guys remember the most expensive drink you've purchased at a
concert?
Yeah. I've seen some expensive ones,
like $20.
So I was at Bruce Springsteen on Broadway. They were offering double.
Offering.
They were offering. Yes.
They were offering.
The butler came around on a silver platter. Yeah,
you guys seem very thirsty. How about this bottle of water?
We were privileged to have the opportunity to purchase double liquor drinks for $31. So I was going in there. I was going to get a beer.
This is a double, sir.
I was going to get a liquor mixed drink or something. The standard liquor mixed drinks, just the one pour, $20. The beers were $16. So I said no. I got a water for $6 because you couldn't bring anything in, and I was really, unfortunately, I was thirsty.
It's a 3-hour concert.
Yeah, exactly.
you get there a little bit early to get your seats, and you're there for
so that was
damn near four hours.
The most I've ever spent is probably I've definitely purchased a tall boy at a show for like $12.50.
Oh yeah,
I think that was Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, I think my course of action, I usually go and I'll buy 2 beers right off the bat, and then
you never buy just one.
Yeah, you never buy just one, but then you quick slam the first one,
and then you have one to enjoy.
And then you have one to enjoy. Yeah,
I agree. I usually prefer to not get up unless it's
if it's general admission, you feel
I try not to. If it's
unless it's a country concert, then you can leave it anytime you want.
Well,
Nobody
cares.
cares.
Music going on because
no one's in.
It's basically background music for people to drink. That's
Correct.
what a country is.
You're exactly right.
And there's a place for that.
Is there though? I don't think I'll return to a country music show.
I've never been to a country show.
You're not really missing a whole lot.
Yeah, it's basically a tailgate that has no games.
Yes, that is. That's the most
it's like basically you have fun outside the concert, and you have your tailgate and all your games, and then you go inside, and it's the same exact thing.
That's all.
And the Bluetooth isn't playing the music anymore.
Yeah,
you don't have control of the aux.
Yeah,
and the music sounds worse.
All right, noted. No, I mean, I wasn't really.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to play games and hang out for an afternoon, but just don't expect the music to be that tantalizing.
Yeah. No, never. All right, so Chris, what concerts do you have tickets for? What do you have lined up? Then let's go through what we have.
I will the shows that I have tickets for currently. I have tickets to see Counting Crows, Julian Baker, Phoebe Bridgers, and I have designs on purchasing tickets to see Modest Mouse, Lucy Dacus, Soccer Mommy, Dawes, and then John Mayer, Courtney Barnett just announced that they're going on tours as well. And I would like to see the Black Crows this summer as well. So I'm going to be
see them fight on stage.
Exactly. Hopefully I can be there for the breakup because it's going to happen again. Seriously. But yeah, I am going to Control-Alt-Delete most of my money. I'm a little overwhelmed though because everybody's announcing all of their tours at the same time.
I got like 3 days in a row that have shows.
Well, like I think I'm seeing like Julian Baker, Phoebe Bridgers, Lucy Dacus, and Soccer Mommy are all happening within like 2 weeks of one another. So I should just like move in with a friend in Boston or something for that time. But I don't know. What about you? What do you have lined up?
I have. It's like similar shows because they're doing well.
Right.
Kind of. I got
we're going to some of the same tours, just different legs, obviously.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. We wanted to kind of meet up for.
We'll try to make that happen
for the Phoebe show,
maybe for our friend John Mayer.
That would be epic. Good friend of ours, John Mayer. Shout out to John Mayer. He follows our second account, Porch Radio, which is pretty cool. Okay, I have tickets to see Camp, which I've seen before. Phoebe, which will be my first time. The Front Bottoms, I've seen twice. Dinosaur Jr., first time. Very excited to see them.
I forgot about them. I got to add them to the list. I know Jay Mascis lives in Massachusetts, and I know he's playing somewhere around there. So I'll have to add that. And
then Quin's favorite live band, Bleachers, are playing a show. And
you're wasting your money? What are you doing? That's a throwaway.
Yeah.
Who's bringing them on?
What? The venue?
The opener?
The opener.
Oh, Claude is the opener?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Claude.
Yeah, Claude actually releases
like
their
bedroom
music.
pop.
Yeah, releases their music under Phoebe Bridgers' record label.
Oh, okay.
She has a record label, apparently. And it's like under the jurisdiction of her, whoever she records and releases.
Yeah, she's not bad. It's like, I think they're labeled as bedroom pop.
Yeah.
So it's pretty soft. I'm sure you'd love it, Quinn.
Sounds like
it. And I like you said, I'm probably going to buy Modest Mouse tickets. I had just bought like, I don't know, 3 of these 5 concerts. And so I held off on buying the Modest Mouse because I'm actually, they're one of the bands that we talked about earlier that I'm a little nervous to see because they have mixed reviews on their live shows.
Same thing with me and the Counting Crows.
Yeah. And it's and that's how Blink-182 was for me when I really, really wanted to see them, but it was right when they were like fading off and I heard their concerts were just not what they were. And I had to I had to restrain and not go because I didn't want to take the chance of ruining it. So I'm a little worried about the Modest Mouse because I think so high, like I love them, think highly. I need to listen to their new album because I'm sure they're going to play a lot of new stuff.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that I'm ready for that versus, just getting their old concerts.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that too. And I think for both Modest Mouse and Counting Crows, the cheapest ticket I can get is like $55 and an hour's drive up and back. So it's always, because those two bands, I've heard that both Isaac Brock and Adam Duritz sometimes do a nice little mail-in job or whatever it may be. So it'll be interesting, and those are on back-to-back nights for me. So I feel like
oh my goodness,
I feel like one of them has to go.
That could be an incredible 2 days, or you could be out 120
and like I fully intend to go to most of these shows, but I would never sit down and purchase all of them at the same time. I like playing the mental gymnastics of just microdosing the payments out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like I bought Phoebe Bridgers tickets today. I think it'll be a couple of weeks before I secure any other ones.
100%.
So here's a question. So it sounds like you're doing this now, but how many times have you went to a Friday, Saturday? Have you done a Friday, Saturday concert?
I've never done it yet. I have not done it yet.
Okay. And they're different people. You're going on Friday.
Yes.
Okay. We did Dirty Heads 2 back-to-back nights.
Yeah.
That was a lot. I remember doing that.
It was a lot. And because a lot of was it
set
was
was
it
the
two in
same.
Philly or one was at Asbury Park?
No, we drove down the Stone Pony in Asbury Park.
It's a legendary venue.
It's a great venue. Yeah. I think that one was first, and then we went to Fairmount the next day. I remember that was something that we said, I don't know why we did that. Because, I mean, we wanted to do it because we loved it.
Yeah,
the tickets were cheap. We were just following them around, but I kind of was like, why did we just do that? We could have waited. They're going to tour. They were doing
the same set.
It was the same set.
So that's
it was maybe a little bit of variation, but it was pretty much similar.
Yeah, I think it depends. For me, it definitely depends on the band and how expensive the tickets are.
Yeah.
But like, for example, Pearl Jam, they played 2 nights at Wrigley. Like, if I had the money, I would probably go because there's so much variation in their set list, and the experience could definitely be pretty different. But you know, some of them, but oftentimes, you know, these bands are not really playing multiple venues or the same venue, you know, in the same geographic area, you know, back-to-back nights. And also, you know, sometimes you don't love going to like a Tuesday night show or something, or
I got
Friday night and then Sunday night, for example. And then you got to get up and, you know,
I got some weekday. Yeah, I got some weekday stuff.
Yeah, I'm not happy about week
Sunday night concerts are the worst, though.
Oh yeah, those kill me.
They are brutal.
Yeah.
You remember that Hershey concert? That was a Sunday night.
Oh,
we did that, and the whole way home was like, I'm starting this new job on Monday. I really
I'm gonna
don't.
be at my best.
I was like,
2.5 hour drive home.
I feel like I need to call out. I got to call out. And I'm like early on in
my
first day, first job out of college. I'm like talking to myself, like I should probably just call out.
It's like the same thing as
I went
going out on a
to work,
weeknight.
guys. I went to work.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I was miserable, but I
burn
did
the candle at both ends.
you got to do it.
Got to do it.
There's no other way.
I was gonna say, I am really thankful for live music, though. I love concerts. All in all, it is one of my favorite things to do, and I'm so glad that even with all the streaming and everything, that bands still like to perform live. Like I'm glad that hasn't phased out. I'm glad people are coming back after the pandemic and are playing shows because I think it's critical. It's like just like seeing sports in person. It's really great to like listen to them and watch them in high definition, but being there, those type of experience and shared experiences with the crowd, like that's another reason I love concerts is everybody's there for the same reason. May not be the exact same, like
way that they feel.
Exact same feelings, but everybody comes because the band gets you to amidst different emotions and whatnot. Yeah. So like you're sharing the experience with a bunch of random people. So I'm so thankful for live music.
I'm gonna be
and
honest,
what it does.
The virtual shows I guess
hard,
attended. They didn't do it for me.
Yeah, it's because you're in your room and you can distract yourself.
Right, I'm on my phone or whatever, you know. And I tried. It didn't really work out too well. So I'm definitely excited, and I think there's going to be like a grace period where none of us take live music for granted, but inevitably, you know, you just get back to whatever, you know, taking it for granted or you know, passing up an artist for whatever reason. But for now, I'm definitely, you know,
we're locked in,
trying to be present and locked in and really enjoy the live music. Absolutely. So, you know, a lot of concerts coming up. It can be a little overwhelming both for the scheduling portion of the brain and the financial portion of the brain, but really excited to get back to it. But with that being said, if you've listened on through to this point, we're really thankful that you're with us. This is going to be the longest show that we've done.
Congrats to you.
Yes, congratulations. I feel like we need to contribute to your Patreon if you have
may
one.
have rambled a little bit, but
we'll have
that's
to
what happens when you're in person. I mean,
I feel like Joe Rogan.
That was pretty easy. Yeah, have you ever tried DMT?
I don't want to feel like Joe Rogan. No, but I will. But yeah, if you'd like to support us further, you can head over to grungebible.com. As we always say, there's some different links that you can navigate to show your support, the first of which being our Patreon page, which you know about by this point. Additionally, there's merchandise for sale. And also, you know, aside from just listening, you know, leave your reviews, leave your comments, subscribe, like, share the podcast with a friend, maybe if you have other lunatics that might be interested in this. But otherwise, we have one final segment, which is Song of the Week. And Quinn, this is going to be your first foray into Song of the Week. So do you have any song right now that's lighting your world on fire?
Something that you want the people to listen to?
Bleachers, right?
No.
I want to get better by the Bleachers.
Yep.
No, I have nothing to add for this segment.
Well, you got 1 minute to plug.
How about this? I got this.
You got a podcast you want to listen to?
I love this. Run the Jewels. It's a great band. If you've never listened to them, Band of the Week. I like that. Yeah. Run the Jewels. Really interesting. I don't even know what you call them, but they're interesting. Got to give them a listen. Similar. They're kind of rap, kind of not. But yeah, if it's a plug and you want to learn a little bit about real estate, come out and subscribe to the Quintessential Real Estate Podcast. Basically, it's just a long catalog of evergreen podcasts that you can basically learn all about real estate. But yeah, so that'd be great.
Absolutely.
It's a good podcast. I've listened to it myself.
I have as well. Yeah. It gets my seal of approval. What about you, Ethan? Song of the week.
Yes, song of the week. I've been doing a lot of driving the last 2 days, a lot of listening to music. I went through a few albums, went through a few Modest Mouse and Dinosaurs Jr. albums, but the song of the week, I believe, came off of a radio album, a song radio playlist. However you want to say that. I made
Spotify.
I made a playlist off of a song, off of I think it was Plowed by Sponge. Yeah. Plowed by Sponge. It was a playlist off of that, and the song is "Headache" by Frank Black.
Okay.
And it's just a beautiful 90s. I'm not sure when it came out, but just like a beautiful 90s alternative rock. Reminded me of Hum, Sponge, LIT,
Built
Lit.
Spill, all of those.
Yeah, like all this kind of. So "Headache" by Frank Black. The album is titled "Teenager of the Year." So it's great. It's really solid. Like I said, it's just got this kind of like a 90s alternative kind of whiny rock voice, and it's beautiful. So I'll add that right now. Chris, song of the week, you're up.
I am up for my song of the week. And so I've known of this song for a while, naturally. I hadn't listened to it in a few years, but my song of the week is Bob by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and that's off of their One Hot Minute record. And I don't know why. So I was having a conversation with somebody earlier this week, and they mentioned the Red Hot Chili Peppers and the fact that they enjoy their music, as I think most of us do. And for some reason, that was the song that popped into my head, was Bob. I just remembered that they had that song. I remembered at one point that I did enjoy it, but I couldn't remember what it sounded like or anything. So I feel like I'm discovering a new song. But I guess I'm a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan. I don't know. I feel like everybody is, as I said. I don't really have like a super strong opinion of them. I've gone through a phase where I'm like, I like this band, and then I forget about them the next week. But this week, we do remember them, and we remember the great Bob.
I love that. Wigwam last week, and then Bob this week.
What about Bob?
And then the big beat.
The big beat. Yeah, man, I'm on a roll with my ridiculous mentions that don't make any sense.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up podcast episode 19.
Number 19.
19.
We've been recording for so long that I don't even remember.
Yes, it was a long episode. So again, thank you so much for listening.
Next episode will be 3 hours.
Yeah, we're gonna indulge, even do a longer podcast. So anyway, thank you so much. Like and subscribe, listen. We're just thankful to be here. So thank you again. Rock and roll. Quinn, thanks for being here with us.
Quinn.
Chris,
imparting your wisdom.
Thanks for driving 5.5 hours to record this podcast live.
I'm going home now.
Yeah, you're good. You're free to go. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Rock and roll.
Take care, everybody.